Tweet it out here so everybody can join in. 1 second. All right. Awesome. Good. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. So today we're going to be wrapping up our series here on navigating all-time highs, and today we're going to be talking about navigating all-time highs with indicators. So we've talked about Elliott Wave. We had our Elliott Wave show this week. We talked about it yesterday with trend lines, and today we're going to talk about with indicators. But before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice, so please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. Good. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to check out and see where we left off with the market here today. Then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening. And then we'll go over the topic, and then we'll take questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, so SPX still grinding its way up here on the monthly chart, right? So we're green here. We're above the upper Bollinger Band here on the monthly. I got some thunder in the background here too. So if I lose you guys, it's because we lost power. But anyway, so one more trading day left in the week here. So the week here is so far red, but it's hanging in there with a lower shadow. So what we're going to do is we're going to see how this week finishes up to see if they push it down tomorrow and give us another bearish engulfing candle. It's rare to see two bearish engulfing candles kind of like in succession, right? So like this, like so 1 week and then another week really close to each other. So that could be pretty interesting if that's what they decide tomorrow. Don't forget tomorrow is OPEX, so it's option expiration day tomorrow. So there could be a little bit of shenanigans, some pinning action going on, stuff like that. So that could make things a little bit wild tomorrow. So it could be an interesting Friday after kind of overall kind of a blah week this week. And why was it a blah week this week? Because we're just kind of hanging out at all-time highs, and the market is like, okay, what are we going to do? And we've talked about Elliott Wave. It looks like this wave one may be done, but how far back are they going to pull back, right? So we're hanging on to the ATMA. It's just like, let's do something already, right? So let's see how it goes, right? So it's been just kind of choppy over the last 4 days and kind of grinding its way downish, right? So it's almost like net zero, like from the close of last week. Right? It closed like right here, and we're just like right here. So it's been generally pretty choppy. So let's take a look at the intraday price action here. Let's see what we got. So today was interesting, right? So I really was like thinking with the gap down this morning that we were ready, right? That we were ready to really pull this ABC type move to get started on it with a nice push down. And I mean, who knows? This could be it. This could be the wave 2 off of a 236, right? So it's possible, or maybe a wave 4. Maybe my count is off a little bit right here. Maybe we're just kind of like a 1, 2, and then a 3, 4, and then we'll just go. But we'll see, right? Let's see. I mean, generally this does look like a full wave up right here, so let's just see how it does with the wave down. It might be working on a leading diagonal down. We'll see how it goes going into the rest of this week. So anyway, so we gapped down this morning. It was looking interesting, but we kept on getting these lower shadows, right? So we gapped down and we flushed a little bit at the open. We got a nice inside 15 down, but it's like each little down move just kept on getting bought back up again. Not crazy, right? I mean, we didn't like just V reversal like yesterday. But they just kept on trying to do it, and it made it really challenging here. And then, of course, at the end of the day, we kind of had this butterfly formation, and I showed this guys a little bit earlier today on the SPY. But what we had is initial down move right here. I would like to see on a butterfly, we like to see a 786 retrace. This was about a 618. Right, and I like to see an 886 right here, but like I said, sometimes it's a little bit off. But we ended up getting a butterfly harmonic here today before the pullback, which was pretty cool. And so we got a little bit of a drop into the close there. So that was kind of interesting. And when you can kind of see this stuff identify, you can kind of trade in the direction of one of the wings of the butterfly, which gave us a little bit of upward sentiment today. Let's take a look at the futures and see how they were today. So again, today, intraday, it was not only, was there a butterfly, but it was a beautiful triangle here intraday. And we pointed this out in the group today in our futures Discord. And we had a real nice triangle here today. Things were really choppy intraday. And what a beautiful momentum move out of that triangle. And this was right when they were talking on the congressional GameStop hearings today, GameStonk hearings today. They were talking about like, I don't understand. You don't use fundamental analysis. It's like, did you see this chart? Right. So nice geometric breakout there today, and really cool stuff. So anyway, here's the futures here this evening. So that was great, and we're just gonna keep an eye on it right here. We could be bear flagging right here going into the rest of the day. If we do, you might want to come back and test this bow and arrow support right here, the center of this triangle, which is basically the scene of the breakout. So that's a possibility here as well. So let's see what they have in store going into the rest of the evening and into tomorrow. Oh, rain's coming on hard down there. All right, so good stuff. So anyway, guys, so that's where we're at here in the market. Let's take a look at the topic now. So this week we're talking about navigating all-time highs with indicators. Okay, so I'm going to go over 3 different ones here, and I mean, kind of pick and choose them how you like them. If you don't like using indicators to pick stuff, that's cool too. Everybody's got their preferences, but I just want to throw a couple out there that oftentimes come into play when we start to reach all-time. Whoa, I don't know if you guys heard that thunder. When we start to reach all-time highs. So again, like I said, guys, if I lose you, it is what it is. So anyway, let's take a look here. So we'll catch up later. So one of the things that we like to look at here is the RSI here on the weekly chart. I typically don't keep the upper Bollinger Band on it because on the weekly because it does get a little bit crowded. But when you combine the Bollinger Bands on the weekly chart with the RSI, it can be very powerful, right? We've talked about this in the past. So one of the things that we look for to at least give us clues that we might be getting a little bit extended is that's why if you guys notice, I only wait because I don't like all the lines on the chart, right? But I only wait until we get overbought on the weekly RSI to really start checking the Bollinger Bands to see if we're getting extended. And so you can see right here before the Corona crash, right? We were overbought here for a while. Right, so this is weeks, right? So this is like, okay, so if you just use RSI, it's like, okay, right? But one of the other things you can do is you can wait until you close above the upper Bollinger Band to start to get clues that, hey, this thing might be topping out. Now, if you got short off of this week, you got a decent down move right here, but they pushed up one more time before flushing it, and that gave us a move down there. So one of the other things that can be used too is divergences, right? So we can use, like you can see right here, we had a bearish divergence, right? So the bearish divergence in this case, right, we got a little bit of a higher high here on the weekly chart, and then we had a lower high here on the RSI, and that led to the down move, right? So these are important considerations to look at on the weekly chart. So at this point now, we have not gotten overbought yet here on the weekly RSI yet. So and we're not over the upper Bollinger Band yet. So maybe there is still more room to go. Okay, so that's one of the things we like to look at. Another thing that you can look at too that we also consider is on the daily chart is also looking for divergences, right? By using the commodity channel index or the CCI. We've done a few series on this in the past. So no, I'm sorry guys, sorry, I just saw it coming in, not seeing the charts. Wow, I can't stand when I do that. All right, sorry guys, the thunder got me scared. All right guys, sorry cloud guys, sorry guys. Oh, that's too bad. All right, sorry Rita, sorry everybody, sorry. Okay, sorry. All right, we'll go back again here. This is important stuff, so let me go back. So sorry about that. Sorry, everybody's watching the recording. Sorry. Okay, so anyway, so RSI, it's kind of a quick review. All right, so I'm always looking. So quick review. I know exactly. Sometimes I've gone through a whole series before with it being off, and I was like, folks were like texting me, and I was like ignoring the text and all that stuff. Anyway, so okay, so one more time here through the RSI here on the weekly chart. We didn't get through too much. So when we're overbought in the RSI, one of the things we look at is the Bollinger Bands, right? So with the Bollinger Bands here, if you're overbought on the RSI and you close above the upper Bollinger Band, chances are you're getting a little extended, right? And so remember, you can stay overbought for a while on the RSI, right? You can see this was weeks, right? This was like 5 or 6 weeks, right? So, and then it got overbought again. So, but this kind of starts to give us clues that, hey, maybe we're getting a little bit extended right here. We did get a push down, right? The next clue is the potential for bearish divergence, right? So you can see here, we had a higher high on the weekly chart, but we had a lower high on the weekly chart here, and that was the beginning of the corona. That's what started it all right there. So again, bullish, bearish divergence, very, very important stuff. So if we go back here, if you go back to the weekly Bollinger Band, so what we got here, we closed above the upper Bollinger here, but we were nowhere close to being overbought here on the RSI. So we continue to grind our way up, and now we're actually a little bit. We still have a ways to go to get to the upper Bollinger Band here on the weekly chart. So chances are we continue to grind our way up, or even just little pullbacks right here, maybe to the mid Bollinger Band as a possibility. Okay. So good stuff there. All right, so that's that. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, so I'm going to take the Bollinger Band off here because, blah. All right, so let's check it out here. So now the other thing we like to use is the CCI, or the Commodity Channel Index, for the same reason, right? We look for bullish and bearish divergence on this one. So just pull up CCI on this, keep the standard stuff here. And so one of the things that we can look at is, now this thing oscillates a lot, right? So it can be a little bit tricky. But if you look for major highs and lows, right, one of the things that we look at too is for divergences, right? So I mean, just a couple quick examples here, right? Just for a little pullback, right? You can see here you had a higher high here from that peak to this peak, right? And you had a lower high here from this peak to this peak with a lower low there, and then we start to push down, and we got a nice down move here to the 200-day, right? So that was that here on the daily chart, right? Same thing here before the Corona crash, we had a higher high right here, right? And we had if we go here, we had a lower high here, right? And that essentially got us pretty close. Now, this again was a little bit early, right? A couple days early. I'm like, these things are not going to call it precisely, but it can start to give you clues that we're getting extended. That's why I really like to use the Elliott wave, and that's why I really like to use the trend lines, because they nail it every time, right? So that's well, Elliott wave can get you a little bit tricky, but the trend lines are always going to tell you if they break down with increased volume to give you at least a clue. Now, whether it calls the top or not, who knows, right? I mean, here was like a little pullback that would have broken a trend line as well, but we're still above the macro upper trend line, and that's still what we're tracking here going forward. So good stuff there. And let me add one more here, guys. And I know a lot of folks like to use this one, but this is kind of just add some clarity. But is the Ttm Squeeze, right? So the Ttm Squeeze, simple one here. It uses momentum oscillators in here, and it's kind of one of the things you look at, right? Is when we start to cross over, you know, from blue to red, right? And so that oftentimes gives like some clues that something is changing, right? So here you can see we had this this crossover from blue, right? You got blank right here to red. Now that was already kind of deep into the beginning of the crash, right? But do we necessarily need to call the top? No, not necessarily. This was really the first day that things were really showing themselves on volume, and this is where things got flat here. And this is actually not a horrible area with an upper shadow off of the ADMA to get a nice down move here. And then things would start to change their way around. Right, so if you kind of go to where we're at right now, we're actually still light blue right here, which is kind of the ascending area of this momentum, right? So right now it doesn't appear as if things are about to turn over based on the Ttm squeeze. Now remember, the Ttm squeeze, right? That's when you get compression there within the Keltner channels and the Bollinger Bands before they start to break out. So we actually had a squeeze right here, and it never crossed over, right? So that was off of this doji candle right here, and it actually went from dark blue to light blue, and it started to work its way up. So a couple indicators like this can really help us just determine when things are going, and just look for consistency. Feel free to back test them as you see convenient. But one of my favorite ones is just on that weekly chart, is just seeing if the RSI is overbought. If it starts getting overbought, pull the upper Bollinger Band up there and see if we push above it, right? That's, I think, one of the best ones. And then look for bullish or bearish divergences. So anyway, good stuff. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about not showing the screen for a little bit there, but I appreciate everybody for the heads up. Occasionally I do that, and especially later in the week. So anyway, appreciate everybody for tuning in. So at this point now, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to play those in the chat window. We'll get through as many as we can. Try to wrap up as early as possible so we all get a good night's sleep, another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff there. All right. So Shirley sent a few in via email. So Shirley, I hope you're doing great out there. So I had to pull it. One of your requests was GameStop. I have to pull up GameStonk here today, right? So just because it's just been so epic, and you know they had the conversation on it today, right? And wow, this thing got beat up today pretty well, right? They got one spike in there, and then boom, they just started. As soon as they got off of the call, they just started shorting it here below the 80 MA. Increased volume right here below the geometric line, and boom, 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 boom. Just incredible stuff right there. So GME, potential short candidate, right? So we got that going on. Let's take a look at Disney. Now Disney was interesting today. It gave a big pop intraday, and there was some news, and I'm not even sure what the news was. Adjusted pandemic, Star Channel aimed at adults. Danny Glover. Deal with Amazon. Okay, so anyway, for some reason it spiked today, but it ended up pulling back. So what's it doing on the daily chart? It looks like it's working on maybe like a little bit of a falling wedge right here, right? So it's definitely something to keep an eye on, right? But we are below the ADMA, so just a little bit of caution off of that here, okay? So that's Disney. Let's take a look at G Pro. This thing just wild, right? As it's like always like working on some sort of deal with Google for some reason. It looks a little bit extended here on the downside, right? So they may be trying to buy it here. See if we can hang on to the cloud and get it back over the ADMA on that one. JMIA. Yeah, again, this has been on our bearish radar for a couple days now. It's looking interesting, right? So it started to cross its way down. We started to get some increased volume to the downside. We closed below the ADMA here, right? Got a little bit of downside follow through on that one. In fact, this is one I think I would have liked to have shorted on this day. I just missed it when I was going through my stocks at the end of the day. Anyway, it's getting some nice follow through on that one. So again, see if it continues to go. It might have a pause day or two or a little rally day. It's got earnings coming up, but 50-day looks like enticing for it, right? And then another one here, JP Morgan. Again, all-time highs today, guys. This crazy stuff on these banks. They must just like the buyback capabilities and all that stuff now. So looking very, very interesting on it. You know, we broke above these levels here. See if we can continue to hold. Again, it looked generally pretty bearish, bullish yesterday. Kind of hung in there. Nice dip by today, and just kind of grinded its way up. So good stuff. Appreciate it. You had a lot of other good stocks in there too, but these are some good ones. Great stuff, Shirley. I really appreciate it. Mike, what's going on? Good to see you. I hope you're doing great. Yeah, let's take a look at Boeing. So Boeing, we talked about this here this week. We were pretty bullish on it going in here, but you still got to respect the geometric lines, right? We pushed it above. We had a strong move on Monday, but then it gave us kind of a doji day, right? So a lot of times here, it's either going to be a doji sandwich or a doji reversal. That's a good day for a pause, right? And today just kind of gave its final clues right here that this thing is working on a pullback. So what I think now is that this is like this wave 5 is done of, let's say a subwave 1, right? So here, I think it is possible we're working on this larger wave 3 up, but that looks like that part right there. So now let's see if this gives us that 618 pullback that we're looking for from here to here, right? We're right at the 382. So let's see how it handles if it pulls back. Let's see how it handles this area right here, and then we'll look to see if it can try to bounce its way up for this could be like for instance a wave 2 here, and then we'll see if we're ready for like like a wave 3 of 3, right? To work its way up there. So definitely something to keep an eye on right here. But again, on that wave 3 of 3, I'd probably like to see some confirmation above these areas to get it going. So above the cloud and above the ADMA. So we'll see. So looking a little bit weak right here. But again, declining volume on that down move, which is kind of interesting too. So good stuff. All right. So Suya, yeah, PLTR. Nice job on PLTR today. So good stuff, guys. I just tweeted this out a little bit ago. If you guys remember the Elliott Wave show on Tuesday. Wait, what day do we start this week? So yeah, Tuesday. Let's talk about this ABC correction right now. Again, trading into earnings, no, right? But it was already kind of bearish going into it, right? When we closed the ADMA, so it gave some good down moves right there, and then earnings kind of finished it up. And then today, right, we had another follow through from earnings, and then today we hit the geometric line and the cloud. So to me, it looks like an ABC move down that we could be starting to work on a fresh wave up. And lo and behold, Kathy buys some today, and anytime Kathy buys something that's really popular like this name, you can only imagine that it's go up after hours. So yeah, so Kathy Woods, ARK Invest posts fund purchases for Thursday, and she got a little VEEV in there, which is kind of interesting. But PLTR making a nice move right there after hours, thanks to Aunt Kathy. So good stuff there. We'll see if that continues to work and give us an impulsive wave up there. We had a lot of in our group, guys. We have our Discord, and we've got a channel just for option flow on names that we like to trade. And we got a lot of call activity coming in on PLTR today. So a little bit interesting there that it came in right at that wave C area. So pretty cool stuff. You got to love it. So good. So yeah, so PLTR looking interesting. Let's say with CCIV. So CCIV, I mean, this thing is just a monster, right? Just still continuing to work its way up. Just caution, right? Big upper shadow on that, but it's just, I mean, just been epic, right? So, one of the things you could do is, are we overbought on the RSI? Oh yeah. so a little bit of caution there, right? So, on the weekly chart, DNN, right? So we've got the uranium names looking kind of interesting right here. We're pulled back here a little bit. Evening star reversal, so a little bit of caution off of that, right? Might try to retrace a little bit more, but watch out for the evening star. Retraces can be shortable oftentimes, so something to keep an eye on right there. DKNG is just being obnoxious, right? But it got into the gap here today, so it kind of looks like a 1-2-1-2, trying to work its way up. So it could be interesting right here. See how it holds off of today's candle. Kind of low volume today. And then Apple, let's take a look. So Apple again, interesting, right? So it gave us a trend box move today. We're below the 50-day moving average, which is rare for Apple. It often doesn't like to stay under there too long, right? So it is a rising 50-day. So again, let's see if it can get aggressively back over there and see if it's ready to kind of work its way back up on Apple. And then Costco, beautiful move today, right? So big dip by day. Again, just about everything gapped down this morning, but it is holding here pretty nicely. So let's see if this can continue to hold right here. Had a strong day yesterday, getting kind of tight, right? But let's see if it can give us a breakout candle and get going with some volume. I love it. So good stuff. So Michael Phillips, come on, I'm ready for puts. I know exactly. Tracy, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let's take a look at Amazon. So Amazon's been kind of grinding its way up right here. So one of the big things we've been tracking here is this mega triangle, right? So we called it from the lows a couple weeks ago, got to the top of the triangle, pulled back a little bit. It looked like a 1-2 move, and it looked like it was ready to go at the wave 5 up, and then it pulled back again. So okay, 1-2, 1-2, and now it's I mean, this thing has had some relative strength. I mean, if this thing doesn't do wave 5, you have to at least give it credit for trying. So so Amazon doing okay there. It's been giving us some good impulsive moves to the upside. Let's see if it can continue to get some follow through. Again, it will, it can tend to move with the market. So if that market does work on that wave 2 pullback, it's going to be tough to fight it. So good stuff there. D-Dog, yeah, let's take a look at this one here. So D-Dog, where's my where's earnings on this? It's just not showing up here today. Okay, I think this one is just like sometimes showing earnings now and sometimes not. But anyway, so D-Dog, I thought I had earnings the other. When is earnings on D-Dog? Position for rapid growth. I guess it just had some news today, some upgrades and stuff like that. Anyway, so D-Dog hanging in there, right? So not quite enough energy here to get a Morningstar reversal, but we did fill the gap. Not a lot of volume on it, but trying to. It does. This one tends to bounce, right? So let's keep an eye on it, see if it gets above today's highs, and if we continue to go there on D-Dog. QS. Again, big push here today, but look where it found resistance. Right at the daily cloud. Got to have those daily charts pulled up. Important stuff. Anyway, so right at the 50-day moving average right here. It could be grindy here below the daily cloud. So keep an eye on that one. Watch if it breaks down below today's lows too, because that's under the 50-day moving average, and the bears might step in a little bit. So something to keep an eye on there. And then PayPal. Let's take a look at PayPal. Worked its way down here to the ADMA, right? So it's kind of chopping its way down right here. See how it holds. I like the lower shadow on it. So let's see if we can get some strength back to the upside. So good stuff there. Rita, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, let's see if we get FSOY. So earnings, just brutal. Earnings yesterday got crushed. And I think didn't they have like better than expected earnings, right? Was it? No. Yeah, better than expected earnings. Anyway, they didn't care. Under the 200-day moving average with some volume today. So watch out if it breaks down below these lows. We could see some more downside action on FSOY. So good stuff there. For Symmetry, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look at Piton. So Piton with an inside day. Again, I'm expecting them to buy the dip eventually on this one. So, a couple of things we want to look at here is just, a couple of these geometric lines. We lost that right there. We got this from yesterday. Right, so we're just kind of getting tight in this range. Just see how it goes. The next kind of big one, we lost this trend line right here. Watch in case it takes the inside day down. Watch how it handles the cloud. We do have an open gap right here. That could be an interesting level. Right in there at the bottom of the cloud. So see how that holds on Piton, and if it's ready to get going again. So good stuff there. And then, of course, QS we just looked at. Again, resistance at the cloud and hanging on to the 50-day, but watch out below today's lows. So good stuff there. And what else? Michael, what's going on? MViz. Let's take a look. Yeah, MViz with some puts. All right. So good stuff there. Just be a little bit careful there with the... we got to the ADMA, right? So never actually went sideways to it. Actually pulled right back to it. So just watch just in case... we stay above it, right? But if it gets below it, good job on the puts, and especially if you're already short on it. PLTR looking interesting, right? So Wave C pullback, bouncing off the cloud, and thanks to Aunt Kathy, making a nice little move up there after hours. FCell got crushed today, right here. So so pretty wild stuff on this. I mean, clearly making a nice little reversal move right here. We closed a couple days ago with increased volume below the ADMA, and we got follow through on that name. So very interesting stuff there. Plug. Let's take a look at Plug. So Plug, again, same thing. This is on. We had a lot of these names on our bearish radar today. Nice pullback on this one to the 50-day moving average. See how that holds there as potential support. So good stuff. Rita, yeah, thanks. Shams, thanks so much. Fabio, thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Sorry for the inconvenience earlier. ZEK, let's take a look. So we got I always do that. IQ. Wow, big move on IQ here today. That's a bullish engulfing candle right there for sure. So see if they can see any follow through it. It's such a tough name to trade, but what a day today on IQ. Incredible. You gotta love it. So so good stuff there on that. So QS, again, same thing we've been talking about here. Upper shadow of the cloud. Watch in case it breaks a little bit of today's lows. MU is some good volume here today, holding on to the ADMA, and Snap. Getting really tight here, guys. The social media names had some relative strength today. Keep an eye on them tomorrow if they want to get perky. So so keep an eye on those here. We got this. Kind of triangulating here. Okay. So good stuff. Tracy, thanks so much. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Ankit, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look. So you got Amazon, of course, on the radar. We just talked about that. Possibly working on a wave 5 up if the market can give it some tailwind on it. We got Facebook, which is just kind of totally changing composure here as it couldn't get above the cloud. So it's Doji right at the 50-day moving average. So definitely one to keep an eye on tomorrow if it wants to get out of that one way or the other. Snow, again, a green candle today. It looks like we filled the gap. but still below the ADMA on that one, so a little bit of caution there. Disney, possible little falling wedge right here, but under the ADMA, so a little bit of caution on that one. And AFRM, let's take a look. So AFRM, back to the channel, guys. So see how it holds right here. Again, it's below it right now. Let's see if we can get some bullishness back above it. So good stuff there. Cloud Guy, thanks so much. Ward, thanks so much. I appreciate it. SDN, thanks so much. It's the boat driving lesson, exactly. So we got that there. So Reed, thanks again. Cloud Guys, thanks. John, thanks. Ankit, thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Let's see. Finally, once I see it, I'm like, oh, okay, people are typing this in here. So I really appreciate it, guys. So good. So Sean, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at Neo. So Neo hanging on to the 50-day and the cloud. Getting pretty interesting right here. We got a good short opportunity on this intraday today. I talked about this on the videos. Nice 15-hour breakdown, right? Another key level breakdown right here for a fast move to the downside. And there's a lot of choppy blah for the rest of the day there. So that was looking pretty interesting there on Neo. SPY. Again, like we said, it's kind of back over the ADMA, right? So let's see if that holds there on that too. And then keep an eye on the indicators that we talked about here today as well as we navigate the all-time highs. And Thunderbird Bridge, so Thunderbird Bridge. So this thing here is just kind of chopping around here. So just kind of doing its thing. See how it goes here today. We got this geometric line here. All right, so see how it handles those lines, if we can break out one way or the other. So good stuff there. And then V, the VIX. Let's take a look. So the VIX, yeah, still below the ADMA, just kind of grinding its way down, right? So we're below actually some prior support levels right here, which is good. That's kind of positive for the market if it wants to keep plowing its way up. So good stuff there. Prayer Kid, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, and Zenful, yeah, PLTR again, epic. Let's see if it's ready to go. If this wave C's done and we start to see an impulsive wave on up, right? Wave 1, wave 2, 3. Right, 4 or 5. Let's see how it goes. So, but look for potentially some impulsive price action into tomorrow. So good stuff there. Suyag, but can TTM trick you? Yeah. I mean, any indicator can trick you too, right? So the red bars is when it's squeezing, right? And then like the when it stops being red, it releases, right? Yeah, I mean, it can definitely trick you. I mean, I definitely wouldn't place all my faith in it, right? But it can at least give you some clues that, hey, things are potentially changing. If you're not seeing the price action or the volume and stuff like that too. So good. So Mustafa, yeah. So Amazon, let's take a look. Amazon again, grinding its way up right here. Relative strength. Let's see if we continue to work on that wave 5 up. And then Chewy, inside day today, struggling, right? So had a huge breakout candle the other day. What we need is a good green day for it, right? So it got pretty decent right here. Let's see if we can get an inside day up on it and see if it's ready to kind of move off of this this breakout candle right here. It likes to do that. So good stuff there. So good stuff. Akira, yeah, let's say with Fubo. So Fubo, again, a little bit rough right here. Decreasing volume. We're still holding, like I said, the two levels that it loves this gap, and it just likes to test those right now. So keep an eye on that. Otherwise, if it starts to really break down, your next gap level is that open gap right there, right? So watch that as a potential area there for Fubo. And then PLTR, again, same thing, right? So it's, let's see. Wave C looks like it's done. We talked about it this week, and, Kathy bought it up here today, and it's up after hours. So let's see if it can continue to move. So good stuff there. Mustafa, yeah, a series on level 2 in time and sales. Yeah, I've done one on that before, and I think I did a demo trade with like Tesla back in the day. I had to scan through my channel to double check it, but yeah, I've definitely talked about level 2 before. But maybe again we'll do another series on it, so we could talk about that too. Michael, yeah, AMC, how about that? With Amazon possibly buying it today. Isn't that crazy? It's like, oh, there's some rumors. Can I please get out of my position? Right? So it had a big gap up pre-market here today, and then blah for the rest of the day. So it could be interesting there. But yeah, that'd be awesome if like Amazon owned a bunch of movie theaters, right? So maybe we get some better, cleaner theaters, maybe? I don't know. After they bought, on CNBC too, I know, right? Exactly. Anyway, UAVS exposed. I was like Whole Foods is kind of nice, right? Oh, UAVS exposed. Oh my goodness, yeah, that was nasty on that one. So, what happened on this here today? We had systems are trading lower after Benitez Research. Oh, short report today. Oh, here's another one. Aerial Systems too, right? Wasn't that the other one too? The EH one. Same thing, right? Beautiful move on that one. I love it. So good stuff there. So yeah, what's going on? Dan, VXF. Yeah, let's take a look and see how that's doing here. So again, the bond market hanging in there, but wow, nice rise on this one. Extended market ETF, but still working its way up here pretty well. Holding trend. It's below the ADMA right now. but it's still above the macro trend line. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Nice stuff, good find. And then yeah, Zenful just looked at UAVS, just nasty. Again, this is not a bad place here if they do want to try to buy it right off the 50-day. We could look at it and see how it goes going into tomorrow. But what a wild move on that one today. Nasty, nasty move. So again, that's exactly what the EH did too. Here's EH right to the 50-day moving average. They bounced it right off of it, right? So pretty cool stuff. Good find, guys. Nice. John, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look at SOS. So SOS here with an inside day. Watch if it breaks down below these lows and makes another move down. And Mara, again, Bitcoin making a little bit of a move there too. Kind of a lot of those names kind of pulled back here a little bit today after hitting some fresh highs. And Sen, same thing, right? Right, but still holding the ADMA. Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick right here. Basically double inside day right now. So see how it holds. It might come back and test the ADMA, but right now it's still looking bullish. So good stuff there. And then ZK, yeah, FLNT. Let's take a look. So FLNT, yeah, nice bullish engulfing candle right there. So again, keep an eye on it. See if it breaks over these highs, if it wants any more follow through to the upside. And VST, again, really strong candle there today. Very, very strong move on this one. Almost a symmetrical move just on one candle here today. Pretty impressive stuff. I like it. So see, PLT working on a couple handles so far. Nice. And Akira, yeah, you got Tesla. So Tesla again, guys, inside day today. Tight, kind of hanging on to the 50-day moving average so far. Tomorrow could be an interesting day for Tesla. Look for some activity on it. And then FSLR, Steve, yeah, absolutely, appreciate it. So FSLR, a lot of these names have been getting hit here. The solar names got hit here today. Pot names got hit today. Some of the alternative energy names got hit today. So watch out. It could be a potential doji sandwich to the downside. So good stuff there. And then STN, yeah, plug. I mean, I don't know if I'd jump in now, right? I mean, you know, this big breakdown candle here with increasing volume below the ADMA was kind of the start, and it even gave a pause day yesterday with some action on that. Now it's at the 50-day moving average, so we could see a bounce there. So I'd be real careful with that. CLSK, yeah, big push on that one out of the cloud. Nice cloud burst on that one. Zenful, good stuff there. And SIAC, IQ at the bottom or down. I know, it's crazy. It's wild. And then Bob, BLNK, good to see you, Bob. Hanging on to the 50-day moving average here too. Same thing with that plug, right? So good stuff there. And then SPCE, again, wild move today. They were talking about rumors that they were going to do a space flight this weekend, and then they came out and said like, "No, we're not. I don't know where you guys came up with that stuff. We don't have anything planned." So it's kind of chopping right here, but let's see what kind of action we get going into tomorrow. So it could be interesting there. Alfred, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look at AG. Again, a little silver name. So kind of grinding its way up right here, or it's working on a bear flag, right? So a little bit of caution there in case you get a big red candle through there. CDE, another mining company, right? They were generally showing some relative strength right here, but we did get a breakdown here with increasing volume here after earnings. So see how that holds. And the big C, let's take a look. I haven't seen this one in a little bit. Oh, man, well, the geometric breakdown right here, increased volume, right? And then push down here into earnings, which are the 22nd, so next week. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Netflix should buy MCA. I know, right? That would be pretty cool if they did. That would be a good idea, Michael. That'd be pretty neat. And then Fubo, Tracy, let's take a look. Fubo, yeah, so Fubo, like we said, kind of interesting, right? We're at this gap level right here. If we can work its way back up and get through this gap level, then we got this cup and handle pattern that we've been tracking. So that's definitely one to kind of keep an eye on right here. Interesting area of interest right now. And then STN, yeah, Dash. Again, big move up recently right here. Could be a little bit of a pullback. Let's see what kind of Fibonacci we got here. We got earnings coming up on it. Right out of the golden zone right here. See if we can stay above the ADMA and start going on that one. So that could be pretty interesting there too. And yeah, so and then ZEK, yeah, EBON. Oh wow, cool. Big mover there today. Crazy upper shadow, but definitely something to keep an eye on there too. See if it breaks over those highs, if it tries to get strong again. So good. Well, good stuff, guys. I really appreciate everybody tuning in. Rita, thanks so much. Thanks for tuning in. Anybody, if you're new here, be sure to click subscribe on YouTube. If you're not new here, or whether you're new here or not, please hit the like button. It goes a long way. I always appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early for the Bubble Report. If you're not a part of our group, be sure to check us out this weekend. We'll be putting out a fresh newsletter for the group this weekend, and of course you can join us in the Discord and chat throughout the day. We look for setups, and we go live at the open and close, and Paul's there with Elliott Wave channels. We got our own proprietary options flow channel too, which helped key us into names like PLTR today and stuff like that. So we'd love to have you in there. Links are in the description. But again, guys, thanks so much everybody for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. We'll see you guys bright and early, and until then, stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first and stay